Hello everyone, my name's Colin and you are watching ClassyHerps. Alright, now this part right here is going to be the only real reptile part in the video, just because I've had a lot of requests to see rodents, and I know I haven't showed many rodents lately, and so today's mainly going to be a rodent video, so I thought that I should probably include something about reptiles, and this is my green tree python Henry who just shed, so I thought I might as well show you him feeding. Hopefully this goes well. Alright, so we are out here in the rat shed. Not much has really changed, and for those of you who have requested to see the rats, if you could request if you want to see something specific, that would be nice. Alright, to show you how many mice I have right now, these are all feeder mice, by the way. These aren't even breeders or anything, but this is just waiting to be food, and there is, I don't even know how many there are in here, but those are all probably the most mice I've ever had as feeders in one time, so that's pretty interesting. My rack is pretty much full of everything here. This is that Siamese blue point that I showed you guys as a baby quite a while back, and I didn't really know what he was, and that was probably the last rat video that I ever made. But he's all grown up. It's his brother right there, a blue Rex. He's also Rex Dumbo, so he's really cool. Those guys are breeding in here. We got some girls. Down below, same thing. I've got some stripe-faced males in there. And then just to work up, I've got some moms on some pinkies. Cute little pinkies. Yep. Some albino moms. Looks really cool on this camera. Just some babies there. I think I've got just a solo mom up here with some babies, a little bigger. Over here, just some older babies. Looks like they have their eyes open. Looks like we got 3 moms in there. So that's cool. And got a little bit older babies in here. Here's an interesting one. I've never seen this color before until this litter came through. It's not normal, the normal color. I don't know what it is. It's kind of like a mocha. I don't really know. It looks like there's a hairless in here too. That's cool. I don't get many hairlesses. They pop out every now and then, but they're kind of cool. Looks like a male, so I don't know what I'll do with him. And then down here, just got some pregnant moms, it looks like. Some unexpected others. Some food drawers, another hairless right there. A little older. Some cool stuff in there. What I found out why I don't keep hairlesses is because they're not really true hairless, because unless their parents are true hairless, like a line bred hairless, because they do regrow their hair as they get a little older. This one right here, I'm raising up, it's a girl. It was born hairless, as obviously Pinky's, but then as its brothers and sisters did get hair, it didn't. And it was like those, they never had hair. But then, just in the past week, it started growing hair. And you can see here, it jumped off my hand, but it does have short black hair now. See, it's not long hair like a normal rat, but it's got some short black hair. And I have a bunch of blue girls in here that I'm raising up. I love blue. It's an awesome color, that gray. It just looks real professional. I like the blues. I worked a long time to try to get into that project, and I finally got it. So, got some males up here I'm raising up. Some cool stripe-faced guys that will be taking over my stripe-faced line for a while. There's my breeding mice. Anyway, got a bunch of mice babies up there. You know, so things are just coming along. I don't really know what to say, but yeah. Alright, so now I just kind of want to talk about why I do rats, And what's so important about this and everything, because I got a lot of people asking me, why do I do this? It's just a lot of work. And yes, it is a lot of work, but it's definitely a lot of work that pays off in the long run, because if anybody out there has snakes, which obviously that's probably why you're watching this, because you have snakes, and rodents in general are just tied, they always will be, because that's what they eat. Snakes eat rodents, whether it be mice or rats. They have to eat it. And if you have more than one snake, it's probably kind of expensive to feed it, because the minimum they eat one rodent a week, and say a rat like this size right here, it's probably about $3, and you're paying that $3 a week. Most people can afford $3 a week if you have one pet snake, but when you start getting 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then it gets up to where you have 20 snakes like I do, well, you can't really buy that many rodents once a week and actually expect the pet stores to have that many rodents on hand, because most of the time they don't. And so the only real option is, if you want to keep expanding and doing what you like to do, if you have a real passion for your snakes, then you're going to have to just do it on your own. You just have to take some responsibility and just do your own rats, do your own mice, or whatever you really have to do, because it definitely pays off. It really does, because if you start getting into it and you find that it is a lot of fun, it's the exact same thing as keeping snakes, or breeding snakes. It just happens on a weekly basis instead of a yearly basis. If you like breeding, that's what you should try to get into. There's that little hairless guy. It's kind of cool. But yeah, it's the same thing. And it's just selective breeding. You can be random with it. You can not care and make it no fun at all and just do it as work. But then that's no fun. Or you can make it into a fun project and put these Rex ones and these Dumbo ones together and make these hairless ones and these crazy cool colored things. And it can be a lot of fun. It really can be a lot of fun. And so that's why I do it. And then if you like it and you get into it and you start producing enough to support your own collection, then you can start like going into a little more and using all your space and get as much into it as you can. And if you start overproducing, well, you can sell them to the pet stores. And basically what I do is I sell enough of these guys that it pays for all of their food, and pretty much they pay for themselves. Everything that they do, that they pay for themselves from the extra. So basically, what I'm getting out of this is I'm saving the money that I would be paying each week to buy rodents, plus I am actually paying for everything that it takes to care for these guys. And so basically, it breaks even. Every now and then there's actually even some profit. So it basically breaks even, and the only thing I'm really losing out of this is a little bit of my time on the weekends. But it's definitely worth it, because the time that I lose is just, it's a lot of fun. It's not really losing time if you're having fun doing it, you know? Alright, now to give you guys an idea of how much this can grow, and if you like animals, you're gonna like this. Because it was about a year ago, right about a year ago, that I started wanting to breed my own mice. And it wasn't because at that time that I needed to, because I only had 2 snakes, and I could do that. But well, I remember what happened. It was I brought home a mouse as food that was pregnant. She was really pregnant. Like, I don't really remember, but she was probably ready to deliver the very next day or that night. And I just kind of felt bad for her, and I couldn't feed her off. And so I kept her, and I just fed her dog food at the time, and I raised up her babies, and I still have her, to tell you the truth. I still have her in there. She just had another litter of babies probably 3 days ago. It's crazy. So she's still going, and that's awesome. But then I just kind of got into that, and it just went from there. And it was probably a few weeks later, I went to the pet store and I picked up 1 male and 1 female rat. Alright? And over the time, they had a lot of babies, and they are probably the male I know is the founding father of all of these rats. He was a tan hooded rat. Not really very special. He was, I don't see any in here that really look like him, but he was a tan hooded rat. And everything you see in here came from him. Females I had to buy, but he was the original starting male. All of these rats have his genes in him, however diluted they might be, but all of these rats came from him. Is that not crazy? Because I have over 200 rats in here right now. At any given time, I know I do. So that's just crazy, you know? Just think about how many kids he has, and that was just a year ago. He has this whole room filled with his with his bloodline. He actually passed away a while back, a few months ago. That was sad, but he wasn't even breeding anymore. I just could not get rid of him. His name was Buck. You guys remember him from videos, I'm sure. He was the very first one. And guys, I tell you, I started this inside of my basement right next to my snakes. And so, yeah, you can do it in your house. It does smell. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It smells really bad. It smells really bad, especially when you eat this many. Eventually I had to move out to my garage, and it's getting crazy. And actually, we're working on moving them into their own building out of the garage because it really smells in here. And I'm going to have a little more space even, so I'm probably going to build another rack. And I'm going to need to be able to support all these baby ball pythons that I'm going to have coming up here, so that's going to be interesting. People tell me they don't like rats, but if you can look into this face and tell me that you don't like that, then you have something wrong with you. Because that is just adorable. Little baby rat. They're nice. I like rats. There's nothing wrong with them. They're smarter than dogs. You know, they're really nice creatures. You can tame them down. You can tame them down just fine. You say this little guy's got no problem with me holding him. You know, rats are just awesome. I mean, they're not my favorite animals. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. They're not my favorite animals. My favorite animal is a hippo, but that really has nothing to do with this. So, yeah, but if you can look at that face, tell me that you don't like that. Tell me that you're scared of that. Then you're just not really, I don't know, you have something wrong with you. Alright, now for the pup of the week, which I have not done for a long time. I need to start doing that again. But it's going to be this little girl. I've never had one like this before. She's almost all white, and I thought she was an albino for a little while. And then she started getting a little more hair, and then I realized that she had that black splotch on her back. And her eyes are even black, so she's not albino or anything. She's just really reduced pattern, so I'm probably going to keep her. I like things like this. And you never know. So you just never know. It's not like snakes where you breed a pinstripe to a spider and you're gonna get 25% pinstripe, 25% spider, 25% normal, and 25% spinner, and you know that, or it's gonna be something close to that. You're not gonna have something random pop out like 90% of the time, probably more like 99% of the time. Nothing random's gonna pop out like a two-headed snake, or nothing ever is gonna pop out like a pastel or something's gonna pop out of that. But with rats, it's kind of a different game, you know. You can breed a black rat to a black rat, and you can get something like this. You know what I'm saying? It's really fun because you never know. You just never know. Like I was saying there, you know, every rat starts its life like this, and you can't ever tell what it's gonna be. Every rat starts its life just like this, and it doesn't look too pretty now, but in a week from now, it'll have hair. Week after that, it'll be kind of stumbling around. Week after that, it'll be opening its eyes. Week after that, it'll be weaned for mom. So that's how fast they grow. And yeah, every rat starts out life like this. Alright guys, so I think I've talked enough about rodents. And so next week will be about reptiles again. I just wanted to have a little rodent special in here because I haven't talked about anything about rodents. And you know, they're always going on out here. There's more going on in my rat shed always than there are in my reptile room. There's always more going on, and it takes more time always. And so I'm gonna ask you guys this week, what is your favorite animal? So leave a comment below, and I will just leave a short little comment, like 5 words at the most, and I will put it right here next week, all over the place, just all over. All right, so give me a lot of comments, so it takes a long time to edit all those in. All right, thank you guys for watching. You've been watching Classy Herps.